What's going on, guys? Lucas here with Lubcubs Gaming, and we are back with a new video on the channel. Today I am going to be doing a quick walkthrough for the Grinch map and also the how I actually built the Grinch map. So there will be a pop-up on the screen now with time for if you want to see the how-to video, or if you want to see the walkthrough, well, we're going to start that right now. So in this chest here we have the lovely cheat book. Essentially it's going to tell you everything that I'm going to show you in this video. We are setting our player numbers here. Once those are set, we can now drop down into this chimney and go into the next room where the mission story is outlined. But to get into the Grinch, we have to walk around to his right foot, walk inside here, right click on the minecart, and then shift out of it and hug the corner closest to the arena. You'll drop into the pool of water and survive the fall. When you walk down this tunnel, at the end of the tunnel, you will see a green wool block. You stand on this wool block, turn the opposite direction, and you can walk through this little secret corridor. Run through this tunnel, and then you'll get to the reverse parkour. So you hit this button, and you just have to make it to the top. Once you get through this little opening, it's actually extremely easy to get through this. Just like that, really. Now you're up here in the starting room. This is where you walk up to the Grinch, and he says, "Who are you? What do you think you are doing here?" Choose whichever option you want. It's pretty much the exact same outcome. We have to go to the present thief. So once you make your way up here, oh no, you'll see a message saying there are 15 presents scattered around the house. Steal all 15 presents and bring them back to the Grinch. So I will quickly run through here and grab presents. So there's present 1 and present 2 under the tree. Jump on the couch, jump on top of the tree, and grab present 3. Walk into the bathroom and lift up the toilet seat to find present number 4. Walk back out, and in the fireplace, you have a present sitting on the floor. That's present number 5. Walk through the fire, you've got 6 and 7. Walk back out into the kids' bedroom and crouch and jump into this secret passageway here to find present number 8. Walk out and into the parents' bedroom, close the door. Present number 9 is right behind the door. Present number 10 is on top of the lamp. Present number 12 is in the closet behind the chest. Walk back out of the bedroom into the kitchen. Present number 13 and 14 is hidden in the dishwasher. And I actually think that's present number 13. Yes, it is. So the last 2 presents are actually hidden outside the house. 1 behind the door, 1 inside the tree. Once you get all 15 presents, you can walk back down or climb back down the staircase up to the Grinch, and he will slowly take all 15 presents from you. And once all presents have been taken away, you can move on to the next stage, which is, of course, Snowman Destruction. So you come up top here, and I have to do a little bit of command block trickery because I'm playing only one person. So I'll be running 1 second. But when you and player number 2 stand on top of this middle section, the game will begin. And all you have to do is destroy those snowmen and these snowmen. But these snowmen in the corner here will drop a new weapon every time. It's one that's slightly better than the old weapon. And I am going to die here shortly. I will defeat all these snowmen. And you have to do this 3 times as there are 3 waves of snowmen. Once you have completed all 3 waves, you will have completed this mission, and you can drop back down and move on to the final challenge, Snowball Brawl. In this challenge, you need to hit this button to set up the game, and this button to get your snowballs. Once you've done that, villagers will start jumping out of the ground, and you have to hit them with snowballs. Once you get 20 villagers, you win. Once you hit all 20 villagers, this will pop up and you will get a message saying, "Congratulations, you can now go up to the control center." Once we climb up to the head, you will be able to try out all 3 abilities. But that is it for the how-to video. If you guys want to see what these abilities do and see how we made them, then stick around for the how I made this section, well, starting right about now. This next clip will be the actual build of the robot. So to start off the build of the Grinch, I had to start with a world that was familiar to me. I worked on clearing out the world size, so I took the bad neighbor world that I had previously built for Pat. I cleared out the original robot, and I started from scratch with the Grinch. So I'm doing this slow motion here. I've started with 2 spheres. The bigger sphere is for the lower half of the Grinch. Then I add a smaller sphere on top to try to get the body shape to be what I want it to be. After many trial and error, I get something that I kind of like. I know this is going to get covered up by a sweater anyways, so it doesn't have to be perfect, but it gives me a general shape that I need to start the actual map with. Now I'm starting the ring for the lower half of the sweater, and then I want to try to clone the entire half of the Grinch and drop it on the other side. Once that is done, I start filling sand from above. This is giving me the natural sweater sitting on the body look that I was trying to get. Once the sand was placed in, I filled it in with red wool and then started doing touch-ups using the brush command. Then I started clearing out the neckline and adding the neck to the Grinch. From there, I added the head. This again was 2 different spherical shapes. One oblong shape for the jaw and cheeks, the other for the head. Then I started the eyebrows and the eyes, and I was using armor stands with coal or concrete blocks on their heads to create the pupils. Then I created the creepy looking face and added the Santa hat on top. After a couple trials, I decided to go with the round Santa hat. Then I had to work on the arms, so I gave it the basic structure at first and then used the brush command to fill in the thicker arms. Then I had to get the hands in. I wanted this Grinch like leaning on his side, hence the way his body is actually leaning. Then I brought the one arm down. This is actually straight in the real map because I wanted the cannon to be used for here. Now I started the legs. The Grinch was built too low to the ground, so you saw there how funny that looked with short legs. I lifted the Grinch up about 30 more blocks, and this really helped get the look I was going for with the Grinch. Long legs, chubby body, it was perfect. So I figured the best place to start would be from the beginning and we just work our way forward. So the very beginning, of course, is the start map button. This is where I set up the player numbers to be able to distinguish between whether player 1 did something or player 2 did something during the map, and then things can actually happen to those players. So pretty much I've got setting player 1, and then it's teleporting player 1 out of the way because the @P target only targets the nearest player. But when I actually do scoreboard add player 2, I ensure that the player is not player 1. And then pretty much I teleport them all up so they can see the statue, and then bring them all back down and set the player numbers. Then they can move on to this next room. This room is different every single map. It is themed to what the actual robot is. This is the Grinch. This is like Whoville in the wintertime. And then, you know, the Grinch's heart that's 3 times too small. And then the storyline there with the Grinch in his glass cupboard over here. Now for the first challenge, I wanted it just to be like a little bit trickier for the players to get into the robot, and I wanted the Grinch to have booby trapped his entrance because I just feel like that's something that the Grinch would do. So we have the booby trap here, which is just a command block testing for this. So essentially how this trap works is a command block right here is testing for tripwire number 5. That is the state of this string when someone steps on it. You'll notice that the state slightly changes, and that command block says, ooh, that's true, so it clears that area of air. So the player drops down here, and then if what actually happens is if they walk through here, then they will get teleported back upwards and they end up back in the house, which is actually a significant amount of blocks difference from where they were before. What they need to do, what it's actually doing is testing for a player looking between the angles of 355 degrees and 5 degrees. 360 degrees is perfectly this way. 270 is this way, and 90 is this way. So looking at 355, which is right about here, right, yeah, out, and then as you can see, right in. So 355 to about 5. If they're looking within this block radius, then this back entrance is open. This challenge, this is why player numbers are important for me. I need to test for the block above whichever player is playing. So player 1 gets too close and they die. That is done right here. So execute at player 1, test for concrete 5. If concrete green is directly above my head, then I will kill player 1. Same goes for player 2 with the green concrete. So that is why player numbers are important in these style of maps. Then I have this room set up for pretty much the lobby of the map. You walk up to the Grinch and he tells you where to go, and he opens up this door right here. Present Thief is essentially just a bunch of armor stands. You can kind of see that in the ground there. Armor stands with presents, or heads on their head that look like, or sorry, skulls on their head that look like presents. And they're all around the house here. And then this wall is also a bunch of armor stands with the same color wall block on their head. Snowman Destruction. This one was a cool challenge because I had to find a way to make snowman attack players. Snowmen actually don't attack non-hostile mobs. Their snowballs also don't hurt non-hostile mobs. So even if I could get them to throw snowballs at me, it wouldn't actually hurt. So what I had to do was, if I can find it, right here, I had to test for both players to be standing on top of those blocks. And so to make the snowman actually attack the players, I had to put a magma cube on top of the player head. You'll notice that the magma cube moves everywhere with the player, and the snowman actually hit the magma cube with the snowballs. And because they're magma cubes, they actually take damage from the snowballs. So this command block here is testing for an entity with the tag 1234, which happens to be the magma cube on my head, for it to be hurt. And if it gets hurt, or for it to not be hurt, hurt times 0s. When it does get hurt, you'll notice that that command block turns off. When that command block turns off, this torch turns on, and it affects the player with Wither 1-3. That is how I was able to make the snow golems hurt the player. So how would the snow golem waves actually work? So when the two players were standing where they needed to in the robot, it would set this redstone block down. Then it would power this redstone block for a fraction of a second, which is actually about 7 or 8 ticks, and it caused 7 or 8 commands, like it caused this command block to be executed 7 or 8 times, thus spawning in 7 or 8 of these zombies named snowmen and these snow golems with all these different attributes to them. And then once that was spawned in, I was able to test for these snow golems, and I would set down this command, or this repeater right here, because this torch would now be turned off. When all of the snowmen are killed, this torch would turn on, running these commands. This would then set this redstone block in, which in the end here would clone one of these chain command blocks into here to set up for the next wave. And that would happen for 1 wave, 2 wave, and 3 waves, all 3 of them being tested right here. Snowball Brawl. This was an interesting game. Similar style to the snowballs hurting the magma cubes. I was able to make snowballs hurt a villager. Now, it wouldn't actually hurt the villager, but it would change the hurt time from 0 to 1. So using that method, I was able to test for a single villager with a separate tag A through P. And if that individual villager got hurt, then it would send a pulse through here and set the redstone block down right here. When this redstone block gets placed down here, that pulse happens so fast, it unlocks all of these hoppers for one tick, and it would place a single item into this hopper, thus counting our hit scores up, all the way up to 20. At 20, it would run these commands, building our stairway up to Control Center. Now, in the Control Center. So the first ability is Mail Cannon. Basically, it teleports you out into the middle of, well, nowhere. And Jury Duty for You, Pink Slip, and there's just these different commands that are saying all the different lines from the scene in like the real person Grinch. And I will get a little bit closer to show you what's actually happening here. If we go over to the arm, I have a set of command blocks cloning this command block. And I will do it. It clones it right to here. Once it's cloned there, another command block, a couple ticks later, places this block here. Now this is a bunch of villagers and armor stands to build this envelope looking, mail. This I built using Armor Stand Positioner. If you Google that, you will see a website called Armor Stand Positioner something. I forget, but yes. And then it will generate that output command, which will build this. Once this is built, I need to apply a tag to all of these entities. So that's what I do here. Any villagers in a 10 block radius, tag it with mail. Any villagers in a 10 block radius, tag it with mail. Now, this repeat command block is teleporting any entities with the tag mail in the X direction 0.7 every command. So when I place this command block here, or redstone block there, it builds it. So boom, boom, boom. Now what's happening over here is this command block is testing for the mail entity to be in a radius of 3. If it's within that radius, it will create a particle effect, large explode, and it will play Spider Death, which is actually just the big boom. The Grinch hygiene attack. So there is the Grinch song that pretty much talks about, his bad hygiene. He's got the mold spray with his bad breath. He's got spiders in his brains. And he's also got termites in his teeth. So we'll watch that one more time. Here's the mold spray. This is the particle effect. I had to recolor the text or the particle to be green. I put spiders in his head that had them fly out with different motion effects. And then I retextured the silverfish to look like termites. Finally, we have Present Bomb. This is essentially a giant holding a present. When you're not in spectator mode, you can actually see. I forgot that it was actually going to blow everything up. Yes, of course, it would. What it does. What do you mean I fell out of the world? Green blocks. So it spawns in a giant holding a present that is perfectly positioned to be within this hole right here. Whoa. Wicked, dude. After a second or two of you looking at the giant, I add a motion effect or a motion attribute and send them upwards and forward really fast to make it look like the present bomb is being launched out of the hat. Then I teleport the player down to about here. While the giant is still falling, he falls past your view and lands right on the floor there. Once he lands, you may have seen it for a second. I summon in a charge creeper with a huge blast radius. Okay, maybe huge is an understatement or overstatement. It's about a 50 block blast radius, and it just annihilates the house. Just destroys it. Now that's all 3 special abilities. The final thing we have is Self-Destruct. The Self-Destruct is done differently in the Grinch. Before it used to create a lot of lag trying to spawn in all that TNT. So what I did this time is I summoned in creepers with explosion radiuses of 30 in different areas of the robot. And they would instantly blow up every 8 ticks, 8 ticks, 8 ticks, 8 ticks, and then 8 ticks. It would spawn in this new creeper, and it would annihilate a whole section of the body, which you will see here shortly. For the actual commands behind this, I'm testing for that button to be pushed. Once that button is pushed, it's playing this sound. And then once again, it's playing, nope, this sound.
Sequence activated.
After that, it's going to get through all these repeaters and play our countdown, which we all know and love.
8, 7.
This timer will get switched out, start counting down, and once that countdown is complete, which I gotta quickly stop, then it will turn this torch on and run through all of our command blocks here. These ones are trying to clear out most of the command blocks within the structure, so you don't see them at the end. We've also got some clearing out some water and killing any entities that might be left inside there, such as the Grinch or armor stands and stuff like that. But we shall go ahead and do this. Right here. The head's going to go first, then the chest, then the torso or body or whatever, then the legs. So it does leave a significant amount of blocks still, but it is so much smoother to blow up like this. It doesn't put any toll on your computer. It renders really quickly. I just think it's a much better explosion personally. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Here's a quick look around at all the command blocks used to make this map happen. This one was a little bit of a smaller map, or smaller commands to actually build. I think this was closer to around 22 to 23 hours of a map to build. 4 hours building the body, and then the rest, like 15 hours minimum, to do all the commands and detail on the inside. That is all we have time for today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, then hit that like button and that subscribe button if you haven't already. Also, leave a comment down below if you want to see more how I made these videos and stuff like that. But guys, most importantly, please do not forget to have a lovely day. Bye, guys.